Good morning, and because Pericope's the beginning and ends of chapters, and the verses don't always make a ton of chronological sense, we are in 1 Kings 22, verse 51, through to 2 Kings 1:18. That is, Graham puts a lot of good effort into the narrative of the story, and that is the portion we're going to be looking at today. So now we see that this terrible king of Israel has now passed away, and he is given the kingship over to his son. And so, unfortunately, this son very much lives in the same way. Ahaziah does evil in the eyes of the Lord. He follows the way of his mother and father. He has caused Israel to sin. He worships Baal. And he arouses the anger of God. And so unfortunately we see the result of Ahab's life not only being the damage he saw, but also this damage that he did not get to see. This legacy of evil, this dynasty of living a life not worthy of the God they serve. And so Ahaziah at some point falls through his upper room and injures himself greatly. And so he sends his messengers to go and seek out the god of Ekron, to seek out Baal, to see if he will ever recover from this injury. But the angel of the Lord appears to Elijah and tells him to go meet the king's messengers, because the Lord says he will not leave his bed and that he will certainly die there. And so this message is brought back to the king, and they say that they were met by this man, and they describe him as a man wearing a garment of hair and a leather belt, and that is clearly Elijah. And not liking this news, obviously, the king sends a captain and a contingent of 50 men to go up to Elijah. And when they get there, Elijah says the phrase, "If I am surely a man of God, then fire will come down and consume you and your 50 men. And it does. And so the king sends another contingent of captain and 50 men, and they cry out to Elijah, "Man of God, come down at once." And he replies again, "If I'm a man of God, may fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men. And then it does. A third contingent is sent, and the captain falls upon his knees and begs, "Please have respect for my life and the lives of these men." And so Elijah hears from the Lord that he can go down and that he does not need to be afraid of them. And so he does. And he reminds them of what he said before. And it's true. The man does die according to the word of the Lord. He dies without even having a son to succeed him. And so there is one phrase brought out again and again in this passage, and that is, Elijah asked the question, "Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going off to consult Baal? Is that why you're doing this?" And that simple question, when phrased to ourselves, can be quite powerful. Why are we scheming? Why are we clawing and scratching for more? Why are we manipulating and worrying? Why are we ambitious? Is it because there is no God here that we are going off our own way, trying to make it on our own, trying to go somewhere where we'll get the answers that we want? As a church, can we ask this question? Anytime we go anywhere other than to the source of life, to our provider and Father, is it because there's no God here that we feel we have to go off in another way? Lord, I pray that we would seek and find you, that we would learn from unrighteous examples, that we would be encouraged by those like Elijah, who are steadfast and faithful. Lord, that we would invite you in, that we would have a life and a home, that we would have careers where you are not only a part of, but the focus and strength throughout them. That we would not have to go anywhere else other than exactly where we are with you. Would you show us where we have chosen to go our own way? And would your Spirit call us back home? Amen.